Today let's talk about the security of the Tuya Smart Home. A smart home is very good and convenient, and a safe smart home is even better. In this video, I want to tell you in detail and test a wireless home alarm with Wi-Fi and GSM connection support from the manufacturer PGST. Let's consider the basic version for the home, which will have a panel, a motion sensor, an opening sensor, a siren, remote controls for arming and RFID keys. We will figure out how to connect various sensors. We will test the alarm options. Let's see what this alarm can do in the Tuya Smart Home ecosystem, as well as in Home Assistant. But before I start the review, I want to share with you a set of coupons for new users of the mobile application and the web version of the Temu Marketplace website. Here is my code for you. The link is also in the QR code and in the description under the video. You can just write the code say 4363 in the Temu search bar. Valid only for new users. But let's get back to our alarm system. The configuration and cost will be different. Here everyone can choose the configuration that they need. But I will say ahead that in the future you can add various sensors, motion, opening, or even smoke sensors, a doorbell button, keys, and even a surveillance camera. In my review, the L configuration is at this price. I would like to separately note the delivery speed from the moment of ordering to receipt. It took only 9 days, delivery by regular mail. It comes in a cardboard box like this. On the right side are the characteristics of the communication protocol, on the left side and on top is a sticker with general characteristics. You should not worry about delivery, everything is packed quite well. At the top are instructions. A small brochure in several languages tells how to connect the alarm to a Wi-Fi network and add it to the Tuya Smart Home ecosystem. But I recommend reading or rewatching the second instruction, or continue watching the video. I will try to tell you everything in detail. The instruction is very detailed and describes all the settings, adding sensors and phones for communication. I highly recommend rereading this manual before setting up. The basic package consists of one window or door opening sensor, one motion detection sensor, two 433 MHz key fobs and two RFID keys. And of course the control panel itself. Let's start with the siren. Despite its size, it is very loud. There is already double-sided tape on the back for quick installation, but it can also be secured with screws, which are also included. The connection cable is 1 meter long. The next sensors in the package are motion sensors. They also come with plastic fasteners. The sensors are connected to the alarm at a frequency of 433 MHz with signal encryption using the EV1527 protocol. The mount allows you to place the sensor at the desired angle for high-quality operation of the sensor. Also under the sensor mount is a small switch to turn on or off. Before installing the security system, do not forget to turn on the sensor. Open the motion sensor. To do this, pull hard from the bottom. The plastic is not fragile and thick enough. As we can see, AAA batteries are already included. At the top there is a data transmission antenna. Under it there is a LED indicator of operation, as well as several switches. I suspect that these switches are responsible for the sensitivity of the sensor. And by changing the position of the jumper, you can achieve either more accurate operation or, conversely, reduce the sensitivity, if necessary. Now let's take a closer look at the door or window opening sensor. It consists of two parts, the main part with a reed switch and a counterpart with a magnet inside. For the correct positioning of the sensors relative to each other, there are small arrows on the side edges. On the front of the sensor there are holes for light indication of operation. The back part surprised me a little, no, not by the presence of a small button for turning the sensor on or off, but a small opening tamper, or an additional sensor against tearing off. That is, when we fix the main part of the opening sensor, and if the intruder wants to tear it off, the alarm will be triggered. This is a well thought out moment in terms of security. You can attach the dotches either with the double-sided tape included in the delivery set or with small screws. Holes for fastening are provided. There are also holes for the tamper and the sensor off button. To open the sensor, you need to apply a little effort and even use a screwdriver. I couldn't open it with my hands. The sensor works from one CR2450 3-volt battery. On a battery of this size, the sensor can work for a very long time. Similar smart home sensors have been working for more than 2 years without replacing the battery. The battery is also included. Remote controls will be useful for remotely arming or disarming an object. It is made in the form of a small keychain with 4 buttons. Arming or disarming. Partial arming, convenient to do this at night, when motion sensors will not trigger, but door opening sensors will. And an SOS button, which will be useful for elderly people or children in case of an emergency. Pressing the buttons is accompanied by a red LED. It works on one CR2025 battery, which is included. 2 RFID keys, they already have their own tags, all that remains is to enter them into the brains of our alarm. A simple ordinary plastic keychain that takes up virtually no space. Simple and convenient. Bring it up, set it on the alarm, bring it up a second time, remove the object from the alarm, sensors or the panel itself. A cable for connecting the power supply of the battery built into the security panel. The length is 1 meter. USB, micro USB. The power supply is also included. The plug is European, the output is a USB port, 5 volts with a maximum current of 2 amperes. The alarm system supports not only the creation of various security zones, but also the ability to connect up to 8 channels of wired sensors or smart sockets. For this, the kit includes a small connector and 4 resistors. This is for a more specialized connection, I will not go into this topic. Characteristics and capabilities of the PGST alarm system with support for the TUI Smart Home ecosystem. Touch 4.3-inch IPS screen. High-performance processor based on the 32-bit Cortex-M3 core. The ability to connect up to 100 different wireless sensors, the presence of the EV1527 data encryption protocol, the creation of various security zones and the connection of wired devices and smart sockets. Support for 2 wireless network connection protocols, Wi-Fi and 4G. The ability to receive notifications both from a mobile application and via a phone call or SMS message. Control the alarm system using the Tuya Smart app, using a control key fob or RFID keys. Ability to arm and disarm on schedule. Built-in 1000 mAh battery. Ability to operate as a doorbell, as well as a two-way intercom. Quickly add various sensors and convenient control. Let's move on to the main alarm panel. Its dimensions are 160 by 98 mm, and the thickness is only 17 mm. The main part of the panel is occupied by a color touchscreen 4.3-inch made using IPS technology. On the left side there is a speakerphone, under it is the only physical button with the inscription SOS. A single press takes the alarm out of standby mode, pressing for more than 3 seconds activates the SOS alarm function. The button is backlit in blue. Under it is an RFID key reader. On the right side there is a hole with a microphone for a two-way intercom. All other edges are smooth. On the back, in the case there is a recess so that the panel can be hung close to the surface. By opening the cover of the large compartment, we can install the SIM card, above it is the on-off switch, in the center is the micro USB port for connecting the charger cable. Let me remind you that the panel has a battery with a capacity of 1000 mAh. On the right side is a socket for connecting an external siren. A loud siren is also built into the panel. At the bottom is a connector for connecting auxiliary devices or sensors. At the top is a bar for attaching the panel to the surface. The secret is in a small removal sensor, called a tamper in alarms. If you or an intruder tears the alarm panel off the wall, an alarm will sound and you will receive all programmed notifications. First, let's connect the security alarm to the mobile network and your home Wi-Fi network. Turn off the device, insert the SIM card of your operator with a positive balance or a paid monthly tariff plan. And only after that we turn on the device. As you can see, the mobile signal indicator has turned white, everything is fine. Let's move on to setting up the Wi-Fi connection. But if you do not have an internet channel and Wi-Fi at your facility, you can already use this alarm. Notifications will come either by call or SMS or both. All functions can be configured directly from the security panel. To set up Wi-Fi, you need to download and install the Tuya Smart app. Create an account and open the app. Now go to the security panel menu, select Wi-Fi. Select AirLink Configure. It should appear in the Tuya Smart app automatically. If this does not happen, click the plus at the top of the app, select Add Device. In the list on the left, select Sensors. And in the Sensors, find Alarm and select Wi-Fi Alarm. Check the parameters of your Wi-Fi network. Confirm that the device is in pairing mode, select Blinks Quickly. In a few seconds, the device will be found and added to the Tuya Smart Home ecosystem. You can immediately rename it. The Wi-Fi indicator on the security panel will change color from gray to white. Let's look at the configuration options directly from the alarm panel. At the top, we see the signal level of the mobile and Wi-Fi network. In the right corner is the battery charge status indicator and the current time. After a successful connection to the internet, the panel in the bottom line displays the current temperature, humidity, and the amount of harmful substances based on the set geolocation in the Tuya Smart app. Below is the current date and day of the week. The first button allows us to make a call, dial the number we need and press the green handset. In a few seconds, the call will go through and you will be able to talk to the subscriber. If you have already made a call to this number, you can press the icon with the list and it will cyclically switch the numbers you have dialed on the display. Next is the button for arming your object. Press it and the panel will give a voice message that the system has been armed. Moreover, the voice message will be played in the language selected in the settings. More about this menu later. By default, the arming delay is set to 40 seconds. This is enough to have time to leave the house and close the door. The delay setting is changed in the menu, more about it later. The next menu item is Smart Socket Control. You can add a total of 8 sockets. It is quite convenient to turn off those electrical appliances that you do not need when leaving the house and thereby save on electricity bills. In the bottom row, the first button is the current security status indicator. If it lights up green, the inscription is disarmed. If the system is currently armed, the indicator will change to orange and the text will change to armed. By clicking on this menu button, we go to the log of arming and disarming the object and from it. Event memory is present.
System disarmed.
The next menu with a shield on a green background is the status of connected sensors and devices. If everything is normal, the color will be green. If the security system is triggered, the color will change to red, as will the icon and alarm message.
System disarmed.
If some zone is not collected, for example, a door or window is open, it will be displayed that the door is open, zone number 6. By clicking on this menu button, we go to the log of alarms and alarm triggers. Event memory is present. About the settings and menu a little further. After the menu, an icon with a house.
Armed.
This is setting to partial protection, for example, without using motion sensors, but only window and door opening sensors. A convenient function.
System disarmed.
The last function is to disarm. As you have noticed, all my actions do not require entering a password for arming or disarming. This is all configured in the menu as well. The second item is the phone. Here we can enter 5 trusted phones to which the alarm will call or send an SMS about the alarm. For the first phone we can select both a call and an SMS, and for the others we can choose either an SMS or a call. Here it is only at your discretion. In the log menu we get to 2 logs, alarms and a log of arming and disarming. Everything is the same as from the main menu of the panel. Go to the details menu. Here is all the information about the connected sensors, remote controls and RFID tags. After purchasing, you do not need to configure anything. The manufacturer has already entered all the sensors, remote controls and RFID tags into the brains of the device. And you can immediately use them and engage in the installation of the alarm and sensors. Here we see information about the key fobs. I have 2 of them, their numbers are in memory. How to delete and add I will tell you below. There are also 6 sensors, 2 motion sensors and 4 opening sensors. Also, when connecting smart sockets, you can set an alarm if you forgot to turn them off. In another menu, set the operating time of which socket should be on and when it should be off. In the decoder menu, we can find out the unique code of the sensor to understand whether it is connected or not. There is also zone management. For EOL zones are preset. We can change the name of the zone, as well as the mode of the zone. Return to the main menu. Next, configure the Wi-Fi connection. We can delete the existing connection, check the MAC address of the device, and also switch the device to access point mode. In the recording menu, we can set our voice or warning. Record your voice, then we can listen to it in the play menu, delete the file with the voice, or select the duration of the audio file. The timer menu has the ability to automatically arm and disarm by time. Convenient if you leave and come home at a certain time, or if you need to arm an object and disarm it at a certain time. By default, the synchronization timer of connected devices is active. Next, we can set the date and time. Synchronization can be enabled only for Wi-Fi or for 4G connection. By default, both Wi-Fi and 4G are enabled. In the device version check menu, we see the following information. Let's go to more global settings. In the delay menu, we can set the delay parameters before arming and disarming, as well as the duration of the siren if the alarm is triggered. In the switch menu, we get to the extended menu. In the first menu, we can turn on or off the sound confirmation of pressing the action. In the siren menu, turn on or off the siren sound. We can also enable sending SMS when arming, disabled by default. Now an important function is blocking the panel with your password. If you turned it on and did not set a password, then by default it is. If you activate this function, then after the panel goes into sleep mode, you must enter the password, otherwise access to the functions will be blocked. I strongly recommend changing the password and activating this function. Next, you can turn on or off the backlight. It is off by default. The sound of pressing the password entry key can also be disabled, enabled by default. In the delay tick menu, you can disable the sound notification about the delay in arming and disarming. Next, you can disable or enable the warning that a window or door is open, enabled by default. If you do not like the voice-activated alarm actions, this can also be disabled, enabled by default. In the last menu, you can disable notifications about power failure, disable the SOS button and function, and disable the backlight of the SOS button. If you are very concerned about the safety of wireless sensors and RFID tags, you can disable them, and the alarm will simply not respond to any of them. Let's go back and go to a very important menu, namely, the system password and user password.
Input password.
The system password is needed to completely reset all system settings. We set it ourselves. In the user password menu, this is the keypad lock password. By default, you need to change it to your own. 6 digital characters are supported. In the language menu, 11 languages are available for selection. Choosing any of them, the panel will automatically reboot. And after a few seconds, all menus and voice prompts will be in the selected language.
Система снята с охраны.
In the initialization menu, after entering the password, it will reset all your alarm settings to factory settings. Let's imagine that you bought additional sensors, and you need to add them. I did not buy them, so I just deleted several sensors from the system. Go to the main menu in the additional parts menu. Let's add a remote control. I am deleting one of the remotes. Now I press the plus sign icon, and I will have 20 seconds to press any button on the remote control. We also add another remote control. If the remote control is already added to the list of devices, the system will notify us about it. Next, I will delete the motion sensor. Now we press the plus sign, and here an additional menu opens. In the upper part, we can choose from several preset names, such as door alarm, room alarm, bedroom alarm, window alarm is suitable for opening sensors. We can also add gas leak sensors or smoke sensors. There are already corresponding names for them. I select living room alarm. In the next line, you need to select the sensor operating mode. There are also preset parameters, such as remain armed, disarmed, 24 hours, close, doorbell, 24 hours of silence, exit without delay, disarmed without delay. And in the last line, we set the serial number of the sensor. By default it is one value higher than the previous one. Here I have selected the parameters I need. Let's say this motion sensor will be a doorbell. Press the confirmation button and now simply simulate movement near the sensor. That's it, it's added. Now the motion sensor will act as a doorbell. If we add another sensor, like opening and closing, then we will also need to simulate opening or closing the sensor. In the case of the doorbell button, press it. With RFID, everything is even simpler. I delete everything from memory. Now I also press plus, add, and within 20 seconds, you need to bring the sensor to the RFID reader of the panel. That's it, the sensor is added. I repeat the operation with the second sensor. As a doorbell, I will try to add a 2-button switch that operates at a frequency of 433 MHz and controls one of my smart relays. Press the plus button. I set the following parameters that this is a doorbell and now I press the key. Everything is added. Now I click on the key. And you can add other sensors that operate at a frequency of 433 in the same way. Once inside the plugin, the main place is occupied by information about the current status of the device. If the security mode is not enabled, then the green circle is not armed. If you arm, the circle will turn yellow with the status left. And if you switch to partial protection, the color will change to blue. Below are the control buttons, similar to the buttons on the remote control. Disarm, arm, night mode and SOS. Below is the alarm log and arming or disarming. In the accessories menu, we see 2 remote controls added. Going to the sensors section, we see the added sensors, as well as 4 zones. By clicking on the sensor, we can give it an additional name, such as a living room window, select the operating mode, and also the type of sensor. But another feature is editing zones. We can rename the zone, change its operating mode, as well as the type. In the alarm socket menu, socket management, switching on and off, and you can set your own name. In addition, at the top there is a small plus, by clicking on which we go to the search mode and add new sensors. Go to the settings. The first item is to set the delay before arming. Then you can set different alarm schedules, when it will be active and when not. You can turn on or off the arming sound, turn on or off the siren sound, and also set the duration of the siren, by default 3 minutes. Next, manage system sounds, enable sending SMS about arming the system, turn on the backlight, and also change the delay time for disarming the system. In the alarm call unit parameters, you can add or edit phone numbers to which the alarm will call or send SMS about alarms. You can set a virtual password that will be requested when you go inside the alarm control plugin on your smartphone. There is practically nothing in the global settings. You can set the notification mode that the device is offline. I recommend doing this. And also check for updates. At the time of filming the review, there were none. Now you can use the automation trigger when not armed, night mode, or fully armed. It is convenient, for example, to disarm the alarm so that the curtains open everywhere if it is daytime. Or the light in the living room turns on if it is night. Let's check what the device can do in terms of a trigger for controlling other devices in a smart home. If the status in the alarm changes, start something from the smart home. As you can see, there are a lot of triggers. Now let's see what the device can do in terms of an executor. If the light on the street turns on, then our alarm can change its status. These are the conditions available to us. Let's see what our device can do in the Home Assistant Smart Home ecosystem. We go to the integration and reboot the Tuya Smart integration. Since this device is a Wi-Fi version, it can be controlled either through Tuya servers or through local Tuya integration through your local Tuya server. Here is our multifunction alarm device. From the control, we only have the option to arm, partially arm, or disarm. And also to see the current status of the system. There is a log of the device's operation. On the dashboard, it looks like this. We can set and disarm the alarm using 3 methods. The first is using a key fob. Press the arm button. After the time set in the delay parameters, the system is armed. Press disarm, the security mode is instantly removed. The second option for arming and disarming is using an RFID key fob. Bring the key fob to the reader. After the time set in the delay parameters, the system is armed. Bring it a second time, the security mode is instantly removed. And also using the touch screen by pressing the corresponding button and entering a personal password. Disarming the alarm mode is now also necessary by entering a password. Everything is quite simple and fast. Let's arm the alarm and simulate opening the doors. Time to disarm. A notification immediately came to the application. That there is an alarm. Here came an SMS and now I am getting a call.
For alarm, press 1 to arm. Press 2 to disarm. Press 3 to monitor. Press 4 to talk.
As you heard in the call, in the voice message I was told that I have an alarm and which zone. And I was offered several actions to choose from. After that, the built-in microphone turned on so that I could listen to what is happening around my alarm. Very convenient. The call will come until you decide whether to arm again or deactivate the alarm. Or they will continue to listen to what is happening around. Quite quickly, simply, and reliably. Here is an example of an SMS that comes.
Введите пароль. Система поставлена на охрану.
When changing the language will also change for the incoming call and notification.
Датчик открыть. Нажмите 1, чтобы включить. Нажмите 2, чтобы отключить. Нажмите 3 для мониторинга. Нажмите 4 для домофона.
Система снята с охраны.
Quite an interesting alarm. I note a large number of settings and features. Even my alarm does not have this. The second is the addition of various sensors and even a doorbell, which allows you to make this alarm a small center of a smart home. The third is the ability to work with both calls and SMS, and with the help of the Tuya Smart application, and using various automations, you can even find out in the notification that the electricity has gone out at home, and start other automations. The instructions even have examples of controlling the device via SMS, but since there is a smart application, I do not see the point in these settings via SMS. I am happy with the device. I can recommend it for purchase. The sensors are sold separately and you yourself have seen how easy it is to connect them and select different zones and trigger functions for them. You will find all the links to the products in the description under the video. There is also a link to a group in Telegram where you will find not only new products on the smart home system but also coupons, promotions and other communication and answers to questions. There is also a link to the smart home forum where all topics are divided into sections for more convenient communication and information search. Please do not forget to like if you liked the video and subscribe to the channel so as not to miss other interesting videos about smart and not so smart home systems. All the best to everyone. Peaceful skies and goodness. Bye.